Hey. So, obviously we wanna redo the mount for the engine. The gearbox has been, well, not rebuilt, but you know, I have built the selection part over the weekend. It is it's turned out pretty okay. It's nice and, you know, and stiff, and it works very reliably. You can see that I introduced these here on each side, and they make everything much easier to time. So when you want to, you know, put this back together, or, you know, take apart, put it back together, they make it super easy to time the engine, the gearbox. Everything is operating really reliably and easy. So, you know, we'll see. So let's put the engine on. Let's see what we can do here. So the goal here is simplification. So before we had in this configuration here, we had an extra gear here inside, you know, had an extra gear to actuate the engine. Well, maybe we can simplify this by, you know, having this here and then having a gear, you know, like that. So we don't need the extra gear. So since we want the engine to turn at all times, regardless of if the motors are engaged or not, I think this is a good option. And it's also gonna make everything much simpler to mount and everything, since we don't need, you know, it's, yeah, I mean, whatever. So let's make the rear of the engine mountable, let's say. So we're gonna keep this in. Probably gonna switch this to a number 3 axle. Like this. I'm gonna remove these. I can butcher the old gearbox for parts since we don't need it anymore. What? What do you mean half-step problems? There's no half-step problems. Don't create problems where there are none. It's just gonna sit on top of it here. What I don't know basically is how we are gonna mount this, but this can wait, because now we can do this here. And since we are going to maybe this is gonna be easier to do, because we can move everything one step closer. Yeah, maybe. Let's see. What do you mean? 20 and 20 don't mesh? Oh, that could be true. That could be true. Yeah, I literally cannot verify this here, because it's a... Okay. Let's see. Come on. Ah, yeah. I see the problem. I see the problem. That I did not anticipate this. Yeah. Question mark is, how do we make these mesh? So the whole thing here is, it's just one step higher than before, right? It's just one step higher. Yeah, it's just one step higher. I mean, I have no problem running the engine slower. So theoretically, we could use the 22 gear in the engine, no problem, and I think that would be okay. So, you know, all of this is gonna run pretty fast, and I don't really like this engine running that fast, you know. No, we want as few gears as possible. I mean, you know, as few gears as possible. Even, I would even go as far as doing this switcheroo here, to have even fewer gears. So I would have the clutch gear here, so we can have everything as compact as possible, if you know what I mean. This may be a problem because of the actuation, but maybe not, because we can have the actuation here on the side. Because now we have less complications than before. For this, of course, I need to install the differential, of course, and see how everything pans out. But I think we are gonna be fine. You know, we're gonna be fine. Yeah, it's, you know, we want everything to be to take as few space, as little space as possible, and use as few parts as possible, because I think this is a bit excessive. But you know, what do I know? I guess. Yeah. Thinking on how to do this part. I mean, this guy here, it's not important. You know, this can be just pinned in because this is not any. Oh, it's not bearing any weight, so we don't really care. We just need to build this so it takes up as few parts as possible and just works. So for this purpose, we don't really need. I think we don't really need this to have these thongs here. So we can, yeah, of course, we can make this go away. No, not needed, I guess. Okay, and now we can do something like this. Come on. Okay. Hey Maxim. And now we can see how we're gonna do this. I'm gonna leave this open for now and take it off because it's not important right now. We can always edit on top of things. So in order for us to get a grips on this, we are gonna take the differential. And I'm obviously using the Kada differential. There. Alrighty. So it's obviously allowing us to do this here. So we have a 5 stat and a 4 stat. A 4 stat and a 5 stat in it. Which isn't bad, actually. Makes it actually more stable. Nice. Okay. Gear meshing looks good. Okay. So let's see how this fits. Very sad that we cannot put the motors closer, but you know, that's where they are. Sadly. What we can do with this setup is we can support this a lot better than before. Because come on, we are one stat close. I mean, we have gained one stat of room here. So if this is, you know, this can has the potential. It has the potential to, be torn apart. So we would, length of this to be determined, but we would do this here, and then we can do this here. So now it cannot be torn apart anymore, making it a lot stiffer. And let's see about the rest of this. Since we have this here, I would like to save parts here. I would like to get rid of this here and bring these one step to the front, because we do need just a hole here of some sorts. If we turn this around, very good, very good, very good. So here, holy shit, we can get rid of so many parts. You can have this one here, and on top, just to keep them together, you can have this here, like that. And now we can get rid of this here, this here. None of this is needed anymore, because this is going in place of it. Like that. Oh, okay. One mistake. Wait, no problem. Now we're talking. There we go. This goes directly onto the chassis. Very good. And this can be 1, 2, 3, and number 4. Okay. a 4-stud axle. Where did I go wrong? Ah, yes. Ah, yes. Okay. Okay. No problem. So my initial feeling was right. Okay. No problem. There is no problem. Even better. So I was right with this. Yeah. Why did you not correct me? Did nobody notice it? Okay. I guess not. There we go. And here, you see, since this is gonna probably want to escape here, we are going to say, no, you're not gonna escape. And we're gonna use this here to prevent the axle from walking out. And at the same time, you know, it makes it a little bit more stable. There we go. Okay. This here, we'll see. I think we're gonna use something different here, but I know. But what can I do? I mean, the motors are black. There we go. So this would be our setup, and all the parts that we need that are more than this are basically just for, you know, making sure that this doesn't wobble excessively, I guess. Yeah. Where is... Okay. I wanted this here. Come on. It's way too complicated. We need to make it simpler. What? Tan 4L axle. Why would I use the Tan 4L axle? That you have to explain to me. Actually, you don't have to explain to me because I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. That's actually good thinking. Good thinking. Yeah. Good thinking. So we are probably going to squeeze this in here. Not on top as we had before. We're gonna do this here. Obviously we need a support for this so it doesn't walk out. Just as we had before. This here. But before we put this in, we need to think about how to mount this. Because that's gonna be, well, probably not that difficult. I'm gonna use this here. This. Use this one here. Yeah. And then what are we gonna do here? How do we mount this? Okay, so a bit complicated maybe, but it's probably gonna work. And the most important part is it's gonna work, I think, without us. It's gonna be easier to mount everything. So we're gonna use this here. So instead of doing the axle gymnastic or whatever, we're gonna put this in here, and this one is gonna sit here, no, and it has to do this here. Okay, I mean, in this case we are gonna use just this here. And we're gonna use something like this here. This is still to be determined, and we need this here. Okay. Yeah, and since we don't want this axle here, we don't want this axle here to walk out on us, basically. So when force is applied to all these axles, they tend to wander out a little bit. So we need to discourage them to do that. Okay. This is probably gonna be a 6, but for now, let's pretend it's the right one. Oh, here it is. Okay. So now we have this here. Okay. So one. I'm kind of tempted to use this here, but I can't. I can't because of the central hole. Yeah. I cannot. Okay. Because we still have to use the lever here, because we need to actuate this here. The lever is gonna be well mounted somehow here. Maybe it's gonna be an axle even. We'll see. Fuck, I forgot what kind of lever we had. God damn it. Do I have any pictures of it? Oh shit. Forgot. Did I make pictures? I mean, I do have some pictures, but God knows where they are. Does someone have pictures of the old gearbox of this part? I'm so stupid. Before I find it here, please help me. Yeah, we need. I need to see what length of lever we had for this. Because we have, well, we have one stud of movement, so it was basically one on one lever, right? Yeah, probably. Okay. One, two. What this fit? Probably not. Damn it. You know, trying to find a, a way to squeeze this in and make everything stable at the same time. Yeah, it's 4. This is 5. I mean, this stud wasn't there, but will we make it go away? We can't. So my plan here is I want to connect these here down so that they wouldn't wobble, and I want to have a bridge or something for this here. You know, I don't know, something like this, so we can put an axle through it, and then we can have a lever that's gonna be actuated by the longitudinal well, rod, or you know, whatever you would call it. But this is not speaking to me. This is not speaking to me. And I would like this to be kind of symmetrical, I guess, and use as few parts as possible. As few parts as possible. I don't want to go excessive here. These are sadly too long. Ideally, we would have a hole here, and it would work, but we don't. Man, this lighting. I mean, I cannot do anything about it. It's very bright here, but the camera metering is apparently not the best. I mean, I guess we could use this here in such a capacity. and the other one symmetrically on this side, and we would have a connector here, so we could both connect them both, and then we would have possible vectors for connecting this to this as well, I guess. So many connectors. Actually, if it has to move by one stud, yeah, one stud, I think. This is gonna be okay. Okay. Now we have this here. Okay. One stud of movement. Come on. Work with me here. Work with me. Okay. Yeah. Pretty much. One stud of movement is this here. What? What? Okay. See? This would be pretty much one stud of movement. If only this would be a little bit smoother. For whatever reason. What? Why? Why are you hanging? On what? Oh, here. Okay, I get it. This one is getting stuck here on this. Okay, we can solve this, unfortunately, with a part. Yeah, unfortunately we have to use a part, but it's solvable. If we use this part here, I think this would oh, hey, no name. Welcome. I did not know my reach is that far. Well, maybe this connector is not the best for real reliability. If we used this simple lift arm, maybe better. And we can save a part. Okay. I am not happy with this, by the way, but at the moment it is what it is. Okay, so this is now not not hanging up on this. So come on, focus, focus. Come on. Can we please focus? What? Not on the background. Come on, camera. Work with me. Can we please? There's nothing else to focus on. Focus on the part. He's focusing on the part here on the in the lower left corner, right? God damn it. What? What's the problem? Come on. Focus. Focus. Wow, camera has weird problems focusing. I mean, there's an edge here. There's an edge here, and it catches on that. Whatever. We have to recognize this and work with this. So not every part is always best for everything. So I want symmetry, so we're gonna use this here as well. We're gonna put a connector here. Maybe? Is there room for it? Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. There's room for the connector. Oh. There is room for it on this side, like this. But is there room on this side? I wonder. This fiber. More than 5. We need at least this much. Okay. Let's see. The sound of solidity. Let's see if this is actually as good as I hope it will be. Probably not, but okay. Though that's fair. There is room. So it allows us our stud movement. That's allowed. And it also prevents us, even if we get excessive, prevents us from pushing this a little bit too far in. But if it sits here, it's fine. So on, off, on, off. Okay, and at the same time, this is a little bit more stable. Still not up to my liking entirely, but these are gonna be mounted to the chassis as well. Keep that in mind. So these here, the ears here, are being mounted to the chassis as well. So they are not going anywhere. This is gonna be rigid enough. Okay. Let's see how the engine mounts, and then we are gonna do the shaft going to the front. Where is the engine? Okay. That's nice. Great. We have our mounting plane, so we can mount the mounts for the engine on top of this here. What do we need? As few parts as possible, of course. For this, we're gonna use this here, I think. This here. It's gonna go underneath here. No, actually no. We're not gonna use this. We're gonna use this here. And this here. How much do we have to do? Okay, scrap that. This can be even simpler. Even simpler. Because obviously we have this part here. this here. So like this. This here. And here these two are gonna be just the this here. This here. I wonder if I have another one. Do I have another one? That's the question. So no, I do have another one. Just for the color consistency. So we can have this one here. That. And now we use this here. This is all we need. There. Engine mounted. But it's obviously a yes but thing. Obviously, even this guy here does not reach the gear. See? No bueno. So we will have to use 2 gears here. Unfortunate. Good part is the gearbox operates now, no problem. The engine is high enough, so the crankshaft is not in the way. But yeah, the gear alignment is problematic. Obviously, we cannot change the blue gear. The blue gear has to be what it is. But we probably have to change this gear to what? Well, the next biggest gear is obviously this thing here. The axles are shift links because it's a 6-stud axle and a 4-stud axle, and the force here required is so little that the axles are perfectly fine. Yeah, the 28 is what is probably gonna be needed, but there are issues with that, obviously. Does it clear this first? I don't know. Maybe. Probably we're gonna have to use these here. Yeah, we're gonna have to use these here to clear. Yeah, we can use beams as well. They're, it's gonna be just one stud overhang, but yeah, we can use beams. Yeah. Now let's see if this works or not. Oh, it does. Barely. But it does. It works. And the good part is that the engine is running slower than the rest of the drivetrain, and that's always a good thing because these engines, they are not very good when they run too fast because the crankshaft tends to oscillate, and these are problematic at speed. But good part is whatever we have now here is a ton better than before because it's simpler. It's a lot simpler. And we are probably, we can, I don't know, make mount points for these on the upper part of the engine as well. Probably. So that, this connects to this and then everything connects to the body. But it has to be all, of course, disconnectable. Yeah. Okay. So we need a, this one is going to be here, and a 9er is going to be on the other side. There we go. What? Half stud beams? No, we cannot use half stud beams. There's no 9 stud long half stud beam. There's no what's this? I mean, on this side we could, but on this side we can't. But for symmetry's sake, let's use these. Anyway, now we need to connect this part here to the front. We approximately know what it needs to be because we had this here before, but obviously we're gonna remake this entirely. So how do we approach this? Obviously we do not want an axle because it can, I mean, on this distance it can disconnect, but we need it to slide, and we have this part here. It's gonna slide, whatever it's gonna be, it's gonna slide past the gear mechanism, which is okay. I mean, it's static and it's not really gonna interfere, even though they touch. That's not really a huge deal. But we need to make sure that it can slide. Yeah. It cannot use the same mechanism as this because because it's not gonna work. Simply because, yeah, this can slide one stud, but then we get half a stud the problem. It can slide one stud if we utilize it from here to there. So half a stud here, half a stud there, but we need this here, this one to be sliding exactly one stud, from one stud to one stud. So from this to this. So we need this, not this. If you get what I mean. So this mechanism here is not optimal for this. And this part here, yeah, let's see. Good question. How do we do this? We have an idea how long this needs to be, because it was this long. This is what now one step further forward than it was before. So it was this long, and it's in its position. This is going to be interesting. Yeah, we're going to scrap this entirely and focus on this here. Basically, we just need something here to slide so that it can actuate this, because this here will be connected via a lever anyway, and that lever can be up to 15 studs long, so we don't care. So we just need something that's gonna be sliding here. I mean, easier said than done, but you know, if we assume that we have the lever as long as possible. Here, you mean? I mean, that's one point where we can make the slider, yeah? That's one point where we can do this. Because, you know, the movement is just one stud, so that's okay. Yeah. If we use this, for example, then the slider can be here. Yeah. But we need another point, otherwise it's gonna be wobbling, I guess. It needs to be like this. Yeah, because we need this point here, and we need this point here. I mean, for the slider itself, it's irrelevant, but I guess. Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe we just need one slider here, because the other end here is gonna be held on by the lever here. That's not gonna go anywhere. And then we have, you know, the connection here, and we can make a something here on this side, I guess, since it needs to slide just one stud. I'm just thinking on how to make the slider. Yeah, basically. Very simple. Very simple. Very simple. No, not this. Yeah. this part here is gonna be interesting, because I don't want this to be too much, you know, the previous iteration of this. So this here, if we take this as an example, this was here. So if you take a look where the gearbox previously terminated, it terminated one stat sooner, and even there we had a step here. Distance to mount the slider is so short to flip-flop beam that ends the slider. I mean, we would have just yeah, that's, well, technically, yeah, but doesn't really matter. Yeah, I mean, it can end here. Yeah, I agree. That's actually, yeah. Problem is, well, not really. Yeah, I'm torn between a few approaches, but yeah, we can actually do this. Yeah. How long is this? So it's gonna be, what's the shortest slider we can do? Sadly, we cannot do this here. We can do this here. Yeah. This here, and then we would have this guy here. So Kada, I know Kada has these in various sizes, so it can be shorter than this by 2 stats actually, but I don't have them here. But so, you know. Yeah, exactly. So basically, we made them 0 with this. You know, I'm gonna use this here, just because everything is so black you cannot see shit. Yeah, so this is gonna happen. Okay. Very good. This is done, and then this does not interfere with the slider in any way. Exactly. A lot simpler than before. I love it. This needs to rework, but first we need to put this into the cabin and make the lever from here to the key. I mean to the key, to the uh, you know what I mean. Okay, let's slide this in. There we go. So now we need to make the connection from here to here. Let's see. So yeah, there is a possibility. Okay. It needs to come back, so we need to, okay. So actually, we can make it a sliding axle. Yeah. We could. We very much could. Make it a direct sliding axle. Just need to think about the system. How do we do this? Okay. This is the extreme. This is this extended. And this is the. Oh, no. When it's engaged, okay. No. When it's engaged, it's like this. So we have to have a lever that is pivoting here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This is disengaged. This is engaged, and this is, yeah. They go in opposite directions. Okay. Come on, brain. Don't freeze. Yeah, basically we need a pivot here. We need a pivot here, and then it's gonna be working. But we need a lever here that's oddly shaped. The shape of this lever is gonna be connectors. Yeah, that's the only way we can do this. So since it's here, we can lean over. Okay. Okay. This guy here cannot go down anymore because of the gear here. See the gear here? Shorter red beam. Pivot on above the shifting. So you would angle it up. And the problem is the connection to this here. Main problem. It's easier before. And since this moves one stud and this moves one stud, everything has to be in the middle, of course. This is what. This is like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's wrong. It has to be. It has to be. Yeah. Okay, so this is closed. This is closed. And then this is going to be open. Okay. One, two, three. No, I mean the pivot has to be in the middle, so on this plane. Ah, what an awkward position. What an awkward position. This is fully closed. Okay, if we have the pivot here. Well, the problem is we're gonna have to have this a seat here. That's why I'm not really eager to have it further into the chassis. You know, that's my hesitation. The seat backs are gonna be, you know, maybe, but I don't know. Maybe one stud. Maybe one stud. We could maybe extend it by one stud. If we are generous, I guess. No. When this is, we have to have we have to have a cantilever here. So it would be beautiful if they moved the same way, but they can't. They cannot, unfortunately. Um, yeah, that's easier said than done. Because this would require us to completely, rebuild the rear. Making things. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. So basically, Ben is proposing that we have. Uh, Ben is proposing that we have this one here in the back. But there are several reasons why I do not want this to happen. Because this black beam that is there is perfectly holding this together, and I really don't want to mess with this. Really don't want to. It's so perfect. What we could do is move this forward by one stud. I would not dare to, because then we probably would not fit the seats in, or this would already be in the seat. That's my thinking. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's just enough room behind the seat to accommodate another two studs, but I don't think so. I don't think so. But we don't have to have this in the car. We know basically where we are. We have a lever here that moves one stud, and we need to figure out what we want here. So I'm gonna do our pivot. I'm gonna make our pivot so we have something to work with, to experiment. So we're gonna get rid of this guy. He is not necessary. I mean, it's okay that he's there, but if he's not, it's fine. There, and now we can have the pivot here. Do this after pivot. Red lift arm, gear rack, gear two. No gears. No gears. Gears make everything just more complicated and require actually uh, adjustment. We want to get rid of all of the gears that we can, and we definitely do not want to have any gears involved in here. Um, so like before, I wanted to experiment with this. Maybe. Mhm. If we had, but yeah, but I don't want to swap the 10 gear. I explained why not. I do not want to do this. Mhm. 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 This is a mock 4A kit. We'll see what's gonna happen. The part for this. The part for this. theoretically, but it's a no. These are actually Kala motors. These are direct Kala motors. Five, we said, what? Five. Hmm? There is a flaw in my logic. This is not gonna get too flimsy. You know, this is the perfect moment where I can hear Ben screaming, "No, Alex, no! This is not right!" Where did I fuck up? Yeah. And it's not right. And he's right. Um, what? Oh, right. Now we have hang-ups here. Okay. Right. I mean, obviously it has flaws, but we're getting there. Sadly not. Sadly not. What did Ben post? Yeah, Ben, but that, you know what the problem is? The problem is this corner here. This corner, which would be if I wanted to do this, I could just as well make this longer. Would be the same. Would be pretty much the same. I just don't want this corner here because this is gonna be impact the way that we can do the back of the seat. That's my reasoning, I guess. But what we actually can do, if we are not too snobby, and probably we should do, is just plain and simple this. This, then we make this here. Where is it? Come on. Where are you? No, fine. Anyone? Yeah, I just want to put it on the inside. It's gonna be a little bit bulkier, but it is what it is. You know, like this. So the mission here, of course, is I really don't want this pivot to pivot in a direction that I do not desire. So we need to look at this as well. Yeah, that's the plan, to test it. We're close. We're close to installing it in the car. The battery is freshly charged, so okay, we want the pivot here, but we don't want it to we don't want this to be turning like this. We want this to be in place. How do we do that? I mean, no, that's gonna prevent it from pivoting. Holy fucking shit. It clears. Clears. Okay. I'm perfectly fine with that. Perfectly fine. Yeah. Now this is gonna be all much better. Okay. Let's put it in the car. By the way, is the stream lagging? Because I see that the picture that the picture of myself is lagging, which it did not do before. I guess we can omit the engine at this point. Wow, that's a what I call a tight fit. Question is, okay, is this enough? So when I am turning it, there's enough engagement. Is there more give? Very little. It's gonna be fine. What are you doing? The fuck? I designed you to not do this. What? Did I forget to install something? Why are you doing this? What did I forget? Okay. This needs to be revisited. I shouldn't do this. I designed the key to only allow this, and if I overturn it, it's not allowed to go any further. Just this, okay? Interesting. I need to revisit this. Okay. Flaws. Mistakes have been made. Okay. Anyway, this is connected. Let's connect these to the chassis, and then we can run it. Oh, the half shafts. We need to add the half shafts. Half shafts. Okay, so you know it cannot go anywhere. This is connected to the chassis, and it's gonna be fine. Yes, but then we're gonna have a lot of force required to connect it. It cannot slip. It cannot slip out. We'll see. We'll see. We'll observe it. What it does. At least here we have, in this current setup, we have everything in plain sight, and everything is actually very accessible in comparison to before. So before I had, sometimes the drivetrain behaved weirdly, and I couldn't really see inside what's happening. But here you can see everything because nothing is covered, which is nice. So the rebuild was a great success. Okay. Moment of truth. Has to be gear are we in? First one. Okay. We can have this out of the car so that it doesn't obstruct any view. Okay. Right. So, are we ready? Well, never. We're gonna never gonna be ready, but yeah. Okay. Well, we can see the problem right away. This thing here is kind of riding, and the problem is not so much the friction, because this is actually not allowing it to go back. The problem is that it needs to be pushed in a little bit more. So we need a little bit more movement. We need this part here to push it in a tiny amount more, technically. So let's continue. Okay. Fourth gear is not really engaging. It's disengaging. Why is it disengaging? Because this is the connector here is actually pretty stiff, so it pushes it violently out. So this thing here is being pushed violently out. Why? Even, wow. Okay. This needs to be investigated. Interesting. And note, this is the CADA connector. This is the CADA connector with the CADA differential. So I am a bit puzzled. Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. Because it doesn't happen in any other gear. So every other gear works flawlessly. Just fourth. Just fourth gear is problematic. Interesting. That requires some investigation. It's probably something to do with the differential. I don't know. But, I mean... It's true that all the other gears are Lego gears. They're not Kara gears. But it's illogical that the Kada clutch would not engage with the Kada clutch receptacle, but it would engage perfectly with the Lego ones. That's kinda illogical to me. there seems to be an excess of friction here. You see the motors are cutting out. So let's investigate this tomorrow and see what happens. Yeah. This diff is 4th gear. This is 3rd gear, I think. Yeah, 3rd gear, 4th gear. So yeah, there's an excess in friction. Yeah, the motors are cutting out, so that's why it's also being pushed out, because of some friction. Maybe I've done something wrong here. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, come on. I'll leave this disconnected. Okay, so let's get rid of the motors. And see about this manual. Now we'll see. We'll see. Because when I turn this, by hand, works normally. I don't know why the motors are experiencing so much friction that they're stalling. Works perfectly fine. Nice and smooth. So when I apply some friction here, this starts slipping. Yeah. I mean, the good part is no gears are skipping. Okay, so there are plus sides. No gears are skipping. We have the clutch gear here skipping. So the construction of the gearbox itself is good. That's not the problem. So, we need to see the plus sides. Why, oh why is this skipping? Who knows? Hmm. Who knows? I don't have a plausible explanation for this, to be honest. I mean, this differential, yeah, I mean, this differential sits a lot tighter in here. It doesn't float like this, but still. No. Yeah, I mean, these are allowed to float too far from each other. And I mean, there's quite a force that I have to exert to have them separate. But none of the others do. Hmm. What? No, that's absolutely not the case. There is plenty of clearance. Good. There is plenty of clearance everywhere. No, no gear can rub on anything. No, not hitting any lift arm. There is so much clearance. There is so much clearance everywhere. That is not a problem. You can see even at speed, so no load at all, they are being pushed apart. So I don't know. Axial contact. Yeah, I mean, if you do, if this happens, but yeah, but that's not really doesn't happen. I mean, sure, this obviously rubs against the lift arm, um, but that's not the problem. Hmm. I don't know. Need to think about this until tomorrow. What could be done? Obviously, I would like this part here to be pushed a little bit more inside so that we have a better engagement here. But this is the problem child here, because it's, you know, it has this slack, so it, you know, it disengages this a little bit. So when they both push apart, so this is being pushed that way, and this is being pushed, this is being pushed the other way, and then they're far enough apart that they start skipping. And there's not really much that I can do here. I mean, this part here, we can do something here to alleviate slack, which we can do immediately, basically. On the other one as well, but you know, we can make the slack less. Not as brush between diff and next. What? I don't know what you mean. You have to explain it a little bit. I mean, I'm sure what you mean is making perfect sense, but I don't get it. Which, you know, being me and all, it's not surprising, but there's no room for the bush. There's no room for a bush. I mean, I could, if this was a mock, obviously, if this were, I would make a very tiny washer, a shim, and push it between. Sure. Ben, the moment you make a bush here, it's useless. This is useless. Because then you have an axle here that has a bush on it, but it's still an axle, and it can flex. And then the gear is not gonna make contact with the other gear, and it's useless. Okay, so obviously I put a axle connection here to eliminate slack. So this part here has as little slack as it will ever get. This one has more because we have not changed this one yet. We will, but still it's allowing it to deflect. You know why? Torsion. Torsion. Fucking torsion. Basically, this is a torsional spring. And it allows it to do this. Even if I would hold this tight so this wouldn't be able to move. Yeah. I mean, where can we minimize this even more? There's nothing. I mean, there's inherent slack in the system. I mean, there's if you're watching this stream for long enough, there are problems that, you know, nobody has seen ever. It's just here. Problems that just we have. But this is, you know, you always run into problems once you start pushing things that were not meant or designed to be used in a certain way, you know, like what we're doing here. Okay, so the linkage has as little slack as we can possibly create. I mean, the gearbox is really shifting very good, except for fourth gear. I mean, if this was my engine, I would put a shim in here. A shim. See? A shim. You know, maybe one of those pneumatic stuff. Oh, this fits. Does Kara have pneumatics? This fucking fits. Obviously, I'm gonna try it. It's if you disassemble the pneumatic cylinder, there's a washer in there. Could be. So the washer here fits perfectly. Now it works. You know, fuck it. Let's put this into the car. Then I'm really gonna end this. Let's try this. You know, to get this out of our systems. Come on. Yeah, but the motors are still cutting out, which is interesting. Is there this much friction? I mean, there's no. Yeah, the motors are actually overburdened with fourth gear. Can you imagine? Whoa, that's quite a lot of force. Hmm. I mean, it's a strong gearbox, no doubt. Yeah. Final ratio is kind of long. Yeah. So, what are our choices here? Our choice is we could make the gearing in the motors different. So basically, we don't up gear them because we up geared them. We make first of all we make this 1-to-1. This is the first thing that we could do. Theoretically, then the car would be slower, but you know what what good does a theoretical gear ratio do if you cannot reach it because the motors are not strong enough? So we could make these equal in gearing. I think if those were all 24 tooth gears, this would be okay. One thing to try. So this is gonna be now slightly slower, but the motors are gonna have more power. I'm gonna put them on the same channel though, because it's easier for me to regulate them. I mean, yeah, they're slightly slower, but still plenty fast, I think. So we're not overburdening the motors and giving them some, torque to play with. Keep in mind that this is the car not driving yet. This is just on rollers. I don't know. There is, some tweaks need to be done, especially in the linkage here. I don't know. This is kind of a bit. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe it's gonna be enough to just use some friction pins in the linkage, so that because the non-friction pins are vibrating because they have slack, and we can because the this part here has enough, there's no problem here turning this. So if we add a friction pin here and there, should be fine. Here, I don't know, the gearbox is really solid. I mean, the shifting here is so satisfying. Everything, the gears just really click nicely. But the problem is that we had to add the shim here. The shim is kind of the nail in our coffin, because in a set you would not have that shim, and if you don't have that shim, you have a problem, I think. Yeah. Anyway, for today I have enough of this problem child. Yeah. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you